Hi, my name is Yara. I'm the creative director of Folly Feast Lab, co-founded with Vivian Elkmati and based in Santa Monica in Los Angeles. Through world building and storytelling, we design immersive and interactive experiences, applications, software, design tools, and games around queer identity, sustainability, and technology. What drew me to AR and VR in the first place is that I'm trained as an architect, so I'm a very spatial designer. I'm interested in space, and I also work very digitally with a lot of new technology. So I was interested in how can I have a practice that works between the digital realm and the physical realm. And this is where VR, AR, XR technology come in. So I'm really interested where technology of these new medium and new tools merge with the art practices and the message we have as Folly Feast Lab. I'm excited to be part of this part of France, the Côte d'Azur in the French Riviera, right after spring, where all the plants or the flower have bloomed, and we can see these beautiful colors under the sun. And it's really what inspires me to do the work I'm doing right now. It's part of thinking about how can we reclassify archives of flowers and how can we make that data, how can I spatialize that data in a way that is more accessible to the general public. So it's really about looking at these flowers and being, how can I sensitivize a whole the people, or how can I sensitivize a larger group of people about plants and sustainability through new mediums like AR and VR. For me, it's really important to work. I grew up near the Mediterranean Sea, so it's very inspiring for me to see a sea, to live near water, near beaches, near the ocean, like in Los Angeles and Santa Monica. It's really important for me for inspiration, and I understand why so many artists were also drawn to these places. So I think the fact that there are so many artists that come through here, that come through Los Angeles, is really drawn to the place. And working with sustainability, it's really important to think about the environment in which we produce, in which we create. So I think there is a lot that has to do with the practice of creating, the practice of working with new technology in an environment that has already served so many years for so many different artists to inspire them to create. A herbarium is a data center of sort, but it's like a very old type of data center. So it's a place where you dry flowers and you press them against a paper. And it's a lot of these papers. So it's like an archive, a library. It looks like a stack of papers. And you need to have access to that place. But it's where you can find all the data on each plant. What is so interesting about the Côte d'Azur, about here, is that there's so many important plants from different places in the world, and they can survive because of the weather. So it's very rich in the flowers and the plants that you can find here, and they come from diverse places. So my interest was, how can I take this herbarium, this place that is like an archive that nobody can have access to, and how can I spatialize and digitalize it? So how can I make it digital so everybody has access to it? And how can I make it spatial? So it's an experience you have with the city. So when you walk around with your phone, you can see these digital flowers and have access to their data while you experience the city. It's not something you do in a room alone, but it's something that is really interactive and immersive at the same time that you meet the city, you meet its flora. So actually tomorrow we're hosting a PhD lab, and I'm part of one of their workshops, and I'm really excited to share with students the workflow and the way all of these things can come together. I'm also a pedagogue, so I'm a teacher at the University of California in Los Angeles, and I do teach AR and VR and work with these mediums, so it's very much part of my practice, of my being, to share and teach people how to work with these new mediums and how to do the things we do. So I'm really excited to share what I've been doing in my residency, and later on when I'll do my exit of residency, to really show the work and leave traces so people can recreate and continue maybe the work. And how do I integrate it with the people of Cannes? How do I share this knowledge with the locals? I think is really important for us at Folly Feast Lab. And it's really about creating this app that anybody is able to download, and they can visit the city digitally and physically. So they'll be able to see these plants all around and to understand and learn about their city and their flowers. And I've been able to do that through visiting all of these botanical gardens and these beautiful gardens that are in the city in different parts of the Côte d'Azur. So I'm hoping through that application, people will be able to engage with the city in a new way by understanding the importance of flora and the importance of sustainability and taking care of the plants that we have here. I think it's a real pleasure to be located in Santa Monica in Los Angeles because we gain so much from the cutting edge technology that are being developed around us. So Folly Feast Lab really works with a lot of technology company, but also we work with art practices and gallery where we exhibit work. So we really stand between art and technology. And to be in a place where everything that is happening in XR technology happens there first is a real privilege. And I feel like being there and bringing the work here to do the residency will also bring that cutting edge and these new medium technology discussions and all of that thinking that I can import from there to here during my residency. I think my proposal for this residency is called Virtual Herbarium, and it really has to do with how do you make a platform, how do you design something that is at the same time informational and at the same time entertaining. So it's infotainment, right? So it's creating a tool, creating an app, a game that people can use that is fun to use, but they also learn something while doing that. So they're going to be able to download an AR app that they can see in the city, and the parent could show their kids, oh, look, this beautiful digital flowers is actually from this part of the world. It blooms during this time. It needs this much water, but at the same time, they can also take a screenshot with the kids next to the flower. They can take selfies. They can post on socials. It has a very fun aspect to it, but at the same time, people are learning through that platform about the flora of the region, which will make them care more about this and hopefully lead to more sustainable discussion about the flora of the region. VR and AR are used in different fields like gaming and entertainment, and I think we can learn a lot from these fields because from gaming you understand gamification, so how to keep your player entertained, how to keep the player to come back to play, how do you create interactive features, and from the entertainment industry, how do you make things look beautiful? How do you make things look so fantastic that people want to come back to them and look at them and play with them? So from these two fields, I think it feeds back into the work we do. And we learn how to gamify things and how to beautify things and how to make them entertaining so people can use them, because if they use them, they will learn and they will care and they will care about sustainability and care about the region. So it's really like a medium, a platform that you use to make beautiful flowers, digital flowers in the city, make an experience, a scenography that is entertaining, that is informational, and that also has gamification elements. So I think I see the gaming industry and the entertainment industry as very close family to the world of AR and VR and XR, and something that we can learn from, and they can learn from us too. So for this residency, I'm working on developing two different applications. One is an AR application and one is a VR game. The AR application is a geospatially located different digital flowers that will appear throughout the coast. So I've visited so many beautiful spaces. Like I visited the gardens in Menton, in Aise, in Monaco, in Nice, on the Lérine Island in France, and even in Cannes. And all of these flowers will be able to be like a digital walk that you can do throughout the city, and you can see the physical flowers, but you can also see the digital flowers. So this is the first application that will be AR application for Android and Apple that anyone could download. The second is a VR game. So VR itself and as a platform is very much individualistic. So you experience more the piece in an interior space. You're not in the city, you're alone. And it's about creating a digital garden. So you get to choose from all of these beautiful plants that we've put up in the city, and you can put them in your personal garden. And you're creating that collaboratively with anyone who jumps into the VR. So it could be multiplayer in the fact that you design collaboratively this garden. So you can plant the flower, you can water them, they move, you can interact with them, you can learn about them. And these are going to be the two aspects of the work that I'm doing during my XR2C2 residence here. And the workflow is really interesting because the first thing I want to know is how do I understand the locality of the flora here? So I visit all of these places and I gather data. I 3D scan the flowers, the plants, I learn about them, I understand where they come from. And it's really interesting here because there's so many plants and flowers and they're all imported. And it's because the weather is so beautiful and so generous here that they're able to live. So when we were in Monaco, we saw the cacti and succulent plants, botanical garden. When we were in Menton, we saw in a villa the rame, the beautiful gardens where we could see so many different species of plants and flowers that were imported. They're not typical of the region, and they were so different to the one we saw in Nice, to the one we saw on the Lérine Islands. So it's really, really special and full of so many beautiful flowers I've never seen. I was really happy to see that. And so first thing is to document all of that and to digitalize it. So we 3D scan it, we come back to the laboratory and we're able to digitalize them and remake them in 3D, but we also make the way they grow, the way they flourish, the way what happens with when you water them, how much water they need, how much sun they need, depending on the season. And once we do that, then we're able to use a game engine and we put them into an AR and a VR environment where we're able, in the AR app, to geospatially locate them within the city. So it's part of like a cultural touristic walk of the city for locals and tourists. And in the VR app, it's part of a game that you can download on your VR headset and you can play in designing your own garden. So in both cases, it's a lot about having fun and making beautiful things, but also a lot about learning and caring for the flora. So we care for our environment and we care about sustainability. Vivian and I came up with virtual herbaria when we were thinking about the plants and the flowers and the things that we have around us everywhere when we travel. It's a project we started working with the Joshua Tree and the Mojave Desert in California. We worked with people in Los Angeles, students in London, and now we're doing this residency where we're going to work on virtual herbaria here. And the hope is really that we're able to extend the work of digitalizing flowers and making archives accessible to the general public in different places in the world. So we hope to work in different coastlines and share the passion that we have for virtual herbaria with a larger audience.